Well, when I opened my eyes, Emma was digging her nails into her face. "I can't feel anything," she cried, tears beginning to well in her eyes. Seeing her like this, I sat up immediately, my heart rate increasing tenfold. Hey, it's all right," I soothed, taking her into my arms so that her forehead rested on my chest. Her face was embedded with several red half-moons from her nails. "It must have been a bad dream, that's all."
What the hell was that?
"No," she wept. "I can't feel you touching me. I can't feel anything right now." When she said that, it sent shivers down my spine. I lifted her head so she was looking at me, and she rubbed her eyes with her palm with such force that I felt sick. "I can't feel anything," she repeated. It was horrible seeing her like this. I grabbed her hands and pinned them down to her sides with a stern look and a heavy breath. "Okay, let me see," I said, softly but firmly. I pushed the covers off from us as tears began to roll down her cheeks and drip onto the pillow. Her hands began to scratch at the top of her knuckles, leaving long red lines leading to her wrists. "Stop, babe," I ordered, motioning to her hands. She whimpered again, but paused the scratching and sat on her hands. "Can you feel this?" I asked, running my fingernail along the base of her foot. A word didn't manage to escape her lips. She just shook her head and let out a little cry. My hand worked my way up her leg, across her hips, her torso, her neck. I pinched her gently. I pinched her hard. She truly didn't feel anything. My mind was spinning through all of our options. But I sidled up next to her in bed and kissed her lips. She didn't kiss me. I guided her downstairs and drove her to A&E. Once we arrived, we waited in near silence until someone was ready to see us. Eventually, the two of us followed a nurse into an examination room, and the sterile smell married with the white walls and large tile-like lights above us. Emma sat in the chair and waited a few minutes before the doctor arrived. Once he joined us, Emma explained the condition. The doctor uttered a groan. "This condition is something I've only heard about," he admitted. "It's extremely rare, and, moreover, it's only ever been genetic." Emma was scratching at her wrists again, so I tried to hold her hand. She didn't even know until I made her look. The doctor kept her in overnight, and I stayed by her bed. She did actually manage to fall asleep, however, and I think it's because she exhausted herself with worry. I, on the other hand, couldn't bear to close my eyes. I watched her sleep until she woke up the following morning. She woke and took a minute to get her bearings, as the memories flooded back into her mind from the previous night. She patted her body with her hand, then again, and again, and again. "I can feel," she said, ecstatic. Then tears came, but happy tears. We cuddled and kissed, and she was discharged after a few tests. We were both given the day off work. I'd called the night porters once she'd fallen asleep and informed them of the situation. So, we spent the day at home, watching terrible reality TV and cookery shows. We were completely back to normal. A simple blip in our pretty perfect lives. That night, the 1:50 a.m. train shook past the flat and jolted Emma awake. She scratched her body all over, unable to feel pain, and then woke me up. I comforted her as she cried, truly terrified she'd be living like this for the rest of her life. We both fell asleep at home. as the doctor had told us there was no medication to help. We were both at work the following morning, tired but relieved. It seemed to only be a nighttime ailment, and something that could be overcome with a little time. I made her promise to wake me up whenever she couldn't feel pain. And for a week, that was our lives. She would wake up and then wake me up. We got into the habit of watching YouTube to pass the time, and I made sure that she always fell asleep first. Last Friday, Emma didn't wake me up. When I opened my eyes in the morning, I cuddled up to her until she awoke. She bolted upright. Long scratch marks that had bled overnight and healed over covered her forearms. "What did you do?" I asked, trying to hide how scared it had made me. She was starting to cry again. "When I woke up, I didn't feel scared." "Well, that's good," I said, relaxing a little. "No, you don't understand," she muttered. "I didn't feel anything, but not only physically, emotionally too." I squinted slightly out of confusion and felt creases appear on my forehead. "I wasn't scared," she repeated. She looked at me and she began to cry even more. "But what scares me the most now," she whimpered, "is that I didn't even love you. I just didn't care. I had no emotion in me at all, and I just couldn't be bothered to wake you up." I felt my heart tear a little inside, but I understood the situation. That wasn't the real Emma. I smiled and soothed her. "Well, you love me now, right?" "Of course," she cried, falling into my arms. She cried heavily, sobbing against my chest as I stroked her. I hushed her and told her it would all be okay. We spent the day at home. We pretty much went back to I stopped staring at her wrists. I set an alarm for 2 a.m. My alarm is pretty gentle, one of those that slowly gets louder with each recurring cycle. When it finally pulled me from my sleep, I turned to find Emma was nowhere to be found. I cautiously made my way out of our room and toward the kitchen. I found Emma naked and facing away from me, staring out of the window, painted in a layer of tea from the streetlight outside. Her right hand, blood dripping from the tip. I quietly called. "I can't feel anything," she said, lifelessly. She slowly turned around to face me.